Visit Amazon.com to learn about my book, Astrology, realized in English and Spanish, and shop my website, NadiyaShah.com, for exclusive The Universe is Wise and Loving merchandise and my signature jewelry line, Astro Fabulous Jewelry. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous friends and fans. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of February 14th, 2016. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. And big burst of astro love to everybody out there, especially considering it is Valentine's Day. At least when the week is starting. Now, I did talk about this quite a bit in last week's horoscope. I talked about what the energy was going to be like, and I'll just do a little bit of a recap. If you are celebrating Valentine's Day in whatever way it is that you choose to celebrate, astro love, self-love, love and care for the people in your life, your kids, your family, your parents, your friends, and of course, partners and potential joyous encounters with people who have the potential in a moment to change your life. Whatever it is and whomever it is that you are sharing love with, wishing you a very happy Valentine's Day. And this is going to be, for most of us, a very sensual Valentine's Day at that. Moon in Taurus will be speaking in supreme harmony with Venus and Jupiter. This should be really nice all around for some truly personal moments and a real understanding, a depth of love, if you will, and a real understanding, a mature understanding of what love does require. So that should be some really nice energy to start the week with, but love doesn't have to stay mature and, thinking about the big picture all the time. Sometimes love can be light, love can be open, love can be free, and love sometimes can come without strings and come with absolute trust. And that is part of what we will be experiencing this week. And that is thanks to the fact that Venus will move into the sign of Aquarius. So as we start the week, Mercury ends shadow. So that whole retrograde that we just gone through since before the year began, actually, that whole retrograde cycle, the whole Mercury retrograde season is over, and Venus begins her move into Aquarius along with a direct Mercury in Aquarius. Now, these two planets are going to be dancing quite close. It's next week when their conversations are going to be especially harmonious, especially exact. Looking forward to talking to you about it then. But I will say that both of these energies moving into the sign of Aquarius do speak very strongly to our changing tides, our changing understandings, and our changing concepts and conceptions of love. Like I said in the opening, love is not, of course, just between two people in a relationship necessarily. Love comes in so many different forms. Lots of philosophers, a whole lot of people from going way back, probably way back to written history, have documented the exploration and contemplation of what love is. And I know that one very popular understanding has to do with 4 main forms of love. And this ranges from family love to platonic love to passion and to that trust relationship and so on. So we've got all these different types of love, and Venus in Aquarius is about understanding that. It is about understanding that there is a certain love that comes when you're with your best friend. When you are with somebody that you can talk to, that you can be with, that you can interact with, and sometimes that you don't have to put on any kind of mask, you can just be yourself. That is a great gift, a loving gift that we give to other people. And with Venus moving into the sign of Aquarius, that is going to be part of the focus for us all now. So love should change directions. Also, whenever Venus moves into a new sign, we start to look at clothing trends, fashion trends a little bit differently. And Aquarius is all about the future. It's all about the latest tech and what sort of encapsulates that. Whenever I see like holographic, hats and clothing, hologram rather, that hologram colorful image, it always makes me think of Aquarius. It is so Aquarian to have a fabric like that, to be rocking a fabric like that, something that looks almost space agey. Well, that is what Venus in Aquarius does. It has us making choices based on the future, but a future that is fun. It has us making choices, not necessarily from the, the classic future, the big picture, those clothes that are going to last a really long time. That is a very Capricornian thing to do. Aquarius, not so much. Aquarius, trends constantly change. Aquarius knows that and likes to change along with it. So we should see some very interesting sort of offerings being made right about now. This tends to be right about the time that the spring stuff and the summer stuff starts to hit the shelves in a lot of the world. And so we should see some really interesting conceptions coming out, especially among the mass retailers. Again, Aquarius, very much about the masses. So among the mass retailers, we should also see changes coming about in terms of some, you can say risky, you could say daring, but some interesting choices definitely in terms of what it is that they are offering. Also this week, it is going to begin the month of, the astrological month of Pisces. So happy birthday to all the Pisceans out there, wishing you an amazing year as well. And so we're going to have the sun move into Pisces. And this brings with it a focus on things a little bit more interconnected. Now, remember, we have Neptune moving through the sign of Pisces. So this is something that I've been talking about and actually will continue to talk about because Neptune is having a long-range conversation with Saturn. So all of us are getting to see and all of us are contemplating and considering, okay, what is that Saturn in our life? What is that Neptune? So where is it that we've sort of locked ourselves into ways of thinking, ways of believing, and where is it that we each need to understand more deeply how that limits us and the reality of what it is ultimately that connects us to everyone and everything. And ultimately in this conversation, thankfully, Neptune is the higher, or rather the further out planet. So Neptune wins. Neptune will be the stronger influence. So right now the sun is moving into the sign of Pisces and will very soon, I'll talk about this again next week, but we'll slowly over the course of this week start building towards Neptune. So slowly but surely, the sun is going to start moving closer and closer towards Neptune, only amplifying this energy for us. And so what is the reality? And what is the fantasy? What is it that we use to give us a false sense of safety? Where is it that we hold on to ego, thinking that it's real? And where is it now that we're ready to transcend and we're ready to move towards an understanding of interconnection and also personal connection as well, whether that is to energy, whether that is to a higher understanding, or whether that is sort of surrendering our own illusions and understanding what it is essentially that really does matter, which is love, which is spirit, but love in the highest sense is what Neptune represents. So we'll feel this energy building as we're moving towards the end of the week. This is the energy that'll be building into next week. So next week, even though the conversations are going to be precise, there's lots happening astrologically next week. It is this week that sets the stage for it powerfully. And it is this week that we feel that energy building. We feel it coming on, which means that we're going to be feeling a lot of times, oftentimes, we are experiencing and understanding and feeling an exact conversation as we're moving towards it, much more than when we're actually experiencing it or just after. Especially for certain signs, I find like air signs in particular, fire signs sometimes as well, water signs in their own way. They have a way of picking up on the energy. So they may experience certain celestial conversations, certain aspects a little bit before some others out there might. But regardless, when it is, all of us in some way should be feeling that good things are coming on. And also some inspiration could be coming on as well. We're building towards a full moon that will be exact next week. So lots of emotion building with all of this. And remember, this is all about understanding and accepting our truth, letting the truth be illuminated. And Aquarius also very much about truth. Pisces very much about a spiritual truth. So these are the energies that we are going to be working with in the best possible sense. You add to this the fact that before the week is out, Mars will enter shadow. Mars will enter shadow. So this is the official beginning of the Mars retrograde season. I am hoping to have that Mars retrograde video up for you before the season begins. So before this week is out, for sure, that horoscope or that video should be up for you, because a lot of you have been asking for it. Thank you so much for your trust, for your continued trust. So grateful for it. So that video should be out. Mars retrograde season begins, and this will be an understanding of what real power is and how to exercise that power in our own lives. Should be some very exciting times at that. Well, thank you so much for watching the introduction. I'm truly so very grateful for it. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, thumbs up. It really does help. It means so much to me. Thank you again for your trust. I did want to do a very quick FAQ because there wasn't a whole lot to talk about in the introduction. And just very quickly, I wanted to say a lot of friends and fans out there in Australia, based in Australia, they reach out and they say, can you post on my website? There are daily posts, astrological postings, looking at, just like in the weekly horoscope, I talk about what energies to expect coming up ahead. On my website every day, in partnership with Symbolic Living, there are updates posted on my website every single day that talk about what energies are with us. And with these postings, I've been asked by friends and fans in Australia, can you post them a day earlier? Can we access the next day? Is that possible? Because we're a day ahead. Well, I wanted to address that just really quickly. When it comes to dates, right? When it comes to times, these are ultimately constructs that we make as human beings to organize our time. But when it comes to what's happening on a celestial level, what's happening on a celestial level is speaking to all of us at the same moment. So if I'm experiencing a new moon in North America, it doesn't matter what the calendar says. That new moon is happening at the same moment for you, regardless of where you are on the planet. I know that it's been said, and I remember when I have felt far from the people I love, and there's a full moon, for example, that happens, there's a certain comfort knowing that they also are experiencing this full moon, regardless of where they are on the planet, that it is a full moon for all of us. So if you are in Australia, if you are in a place that is in a very different time zone than where some of the horoscopes originate from, for example, the horoscopes that are on my page, yes, are within a North American sort of time zone, general time zone of North America. So if you are in Australia, you would read that as if it was for that day. So just because it says the day before on the website doesn't mean that, oh, that happened yesterday for you. No, it's happening for all of us at the same moment. Again, when there's a new moon, all of us are experiencing it collectively. And this idea of time is such a human construct. And really, when you think about it, ultimately what's happening celestially is so much bigger than us. And I think that that's really inspiring, actually. But it is our perception of the sky that is just one of the things that unites us. We're all looking at the same sky at the same moment. Time zones aside, right? We're all looking at the same sky. And so if you're in Australia and you're getting a horoscope for the 14th and it's the 15th where you are, then you would read the 14th knowing it's coming out of North America as if it was speaking to you right where you are at that very moment, because it certainly is. That event, that celestial event, is for us all, regardless of what numbers say. So be open to them and know ultimately as well, horoscopes are in a huge part an omen, and those omens find you exactly when it is that you need them to. I absolutely love our interactions. Please do keep them coming on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, my website, NadiyaShah.com, and the YouTube comments as well. Always try to get to them, sometimes sooner, sometimes later, but always do try to, at the very least, acknowledge how much I appreciate our interactions. Sometimes I'm asked questions that are a little bit more personal, that have to do with your unique circumstance. And if that's the case, please do consider a personalized horoscope where I can do that, where I can look at your unique birth chart and answer your specific questions. And recently there have been 3 new areas of focus that really you guys are loving. Thank you again so much. The life purpose reading is really popular, so thank you so much for that. And there's a love and luck and a luck and success reading. And of course, the sort of traditional areas of focus as well. You get to tell me what you want me to talk about. How do you want me to look at your chart? And I will do just that, meet you where you are. Some people are like very serious students of astrology and they say, okay, Nadiya, just focus in on my 10th house. Like what's happening with my 10th house? Because there's all this activity happening. And I do just that. I will make a video just talking about what's happening in your 10th house. And then some people, you know, they're not astrologers. They're not particularly interested in studying astrology. And they're like, okay, just tell me about love, what's happening there. And I absolutely can do that as well. Also, the business packages. I've had a deluxe business package available for the last few weeks. And that is something that you guys are really loving as well. So thank you so much for that. I'm so very grateful for it, to have your trust. It means so much to me. But of course, you being here is everything. You being here is everything. As I say, my mission in the world is to affirm that the universe is wise and loving. Even those moments when it doesn't appear so. The universe is moving us all collectively and individually in our own life, is working overtime to move us all towards greater love and greater wisdom. That's what we're here to embody. That's what we're here to expand. That's what we're here to understand. And you being here right now allows me to live that mission, allows me to make that affirmation and live that conviction in the world. And for that, that really is everything to me. But also, I really hope that this video, this horoscope, this moment in some way infuses your life with hope and inspiration that you certainly do deserve. Well, how all this wonderful stuff, all the things I spoke about, are speaking to you in your sign is coming up right now. Hello, fabulous Aries. This week, we've got love getting friendly and friends becoming more loving. And this is thanks to a now straight moving ahead Mercury. And you add to this Venus in a part of the sky for you that has to do with your friendships. Also, what's really nice about this week is if there are any groups that you belong to, any memberships that you've been thinking that you'd like to hold that might be good for you, this is a time when joining can be really nice. It can be a nice way for you to connect to other people, allow more friendship into your life. And if you're open to meeting someone new, it can be by participating in these type of events with groups, memberships, and otherwise. Just hanging out with people that you know, enjoying their company is one way certainly to allow love to begin. So this should be very nice energy, but what this can also do is make love a little bit more cerebral, a little bit more detached, which actually can work really nicely for you. I think it'll work in supreme harmony for you and with you. And you'll especially notice this the further we get into the weekend, into next week as well. Because what this does is it makes you appreciate that love isn't just about what you feel right away. It isn't just about what drives you to another person and the passion that you may feel, the connection you may feel. But there's also an element that has to do with, do you like this person? Do you like talking to this person? Do you like spending time with this person? Can you pass a lot of time with this person and feel like not a lot of time has passed? Sometimes there might be a lot of passion, but then it's like, okay, time goes really slowly in other areas of life. So this is about you getting clear. Where is it that you are feeling that sense of things moving in a positive direction? Where is it that you're feeling that sense of a growing friendship, regardless of how long you've been with that person or regardless if you're open to meeting someone new? The focus is going to be on that genuine sense of connection on a level of mind, on a connection of friends. Also this week, the sun is going to move into a decidedly more quiet part of your sky. And this will have your dreams getting really vivid really soon. So make sure you're paying attention to what is happening in the dream space. At the very least, it'll be a very interesting show. Hello, fabulous Taurus. This week we've got your ruling planet, Venus, changing signs, moving into a part of the sky for you that is right above, that has to do with aiming high, aiming big, career, and accomplishment. So there's this momentum as part of this energy, the sense that you want to manifest big things in every area of life, but particularly and also where it comes to matters of heart. For some of you out there, if you are in an established bond, this is making plans together. This is thinking about what you want to achieve together, where it is that you're going together. And it is about those big picture goals, those bigger picture aims. Those are going to be very much a part of the focus. And it might be a little bit surprising for you as well as you find yourself considering some of the larger goals that you may have for your life and for love as well, for the love that you have. Those of you open to meeting someone new, it is by aiming high that you create greater opportunities for yourself in love. So this is certainly the time, on a very literal level, if we even just go beyond love and we talk about your work, money, and happiness. All of these things become that much more possible when you are aiming for it, or rather working with it and working towards it with a spirit of love in your own heart, right? If you're doing what you love, it's that much easier to create prosperity for yourself as a result. But also what's interesting about this energy is if you're open to meeting someone new, it is by aiming big that you're likely to find them. And so this is the time, if you want to meet somebody new or you're just getting to know somebody, there's a sense of achievement that lends itself to a greater attractability for you now. So if there was ever a time not to hold back, if there ever was a time to go for what you want, to focus in and make big things happen, this would be it. Not only will allow you to create blessings in your life, Venus is blessings as well. So not only will aiming big and aiming high allow you to create greater blessings, but also it will open you to new potential partners, new romantic possibilities, and new introductions that will flourish in the weeks to come. Hello, fabulous Gemini. This week we've got your ruling planet leaving shadow and Venus also in the same part of the sky, fellow air sign Aquarius. So this makes the energy that much easier for you to work with. Not only are you feeling more in your element, which should be really nice for you. So it's like who you are, who you know yourself to be, the best of you, is able to come forward that much more easily and is able to come forward that much more on a level of mind and communication, not feeling restricted, being able to talk about the things that you want to talk about, and then being able to talk about ideas that actually interest you is going to be part of this. You add to this, Venus is there, and it brings with it a love of ideas, a love for exploring, and a curiosity that actually is rewarded with a deepening understanding of all the things that you still desire to do in this life. If you are in one of those places where you have felt a little aimless, right? Or you felt like certain things are ending and you're not really sure what's coming. If you've been in one of those places, which happens, right? And I will say this, for all Geminis out there, there may be times, depending on where it is that your birthday is, if you are a Gemini sun, right now, keep in mind, you've got Saturn moving through your opposite sign, which means there will be brief moments at different periods of time where Geminis will feel a certain sensitivity, if you will feel that world experiences that you, and questioning yourself and your identity and who you are and what you really want and the respect that you deserve. All of these are going to come up very much for your consideration. And for a few of you out there, this may even feel like pressure. Now, this isn't happening necessarily this week. That's not what I mean. It's not about this week. I'm thinking more big picture. I'm thinking more about those of you out there who may be feeling like, okay, Nadiya, you're saying all these amazing things are going to happen, but things feel so serious. Things feel so like I have to be super responsible. Things feel like someone else isn't being fair with me. If you were to say any of that to me, I would say, you know what? Yeah, but it will pass. And this is a time that will get you to get clear on who you are and what it is that really matters to you, what it is that is worth doing and sharing, what experiences are worth nourishing and not. And it's not always what you expect. That's the really great thing with this energy too, is that ultimately what this energy says is you getting clear who's the boss of you. Like, who's really the boss of you? Well, at the end of the day, it's you. You're the boss of you. So you decide how it is that you're going to work with any given energy to your advantage. And sometimes that advantage is just being able to speak what is true for you, being able to speak your feelings. So all Geminis out there will be going through phases of this, or have been, right? If you're born in the very early part of your sign, chances are you're good and done with this. So if you were born in the month of May, chances are you're good and done with this energy. But if you were born in the earlier part of June, then this is going to be a time when you may have moments of this. So if you were to say to me, Nadiya, right now I'm having moments of this energy where it just feels like everything is so serious. Well, I'm here to say to you, yeah, that may be true. And you can appreciate that experience for what it is, knowing that it's rare, knowing that it will pass. Saturn stands across your sun only once every 28 and a half years or so. So really, you're not going to see a time like this again for decades to come. And these moments, ultimately, they pass. They're just cycles. But what we do have working very much for you is the fact that all this wonderful air energy is about to accelerate, is start to work in your favor. You've been feeling this already. Recently, there was a new moon that took place in the part of the sky, in the same part of the sky. And now we've got Venus joining in. Now we've got a strong, direct Mercury, your ruling planet, joining in. This is going to make joy, adventure, knowing that wonderful things are possible for you, understanding what you really value, but also just getting curious and feeding that part of you that knows that you need the stimulation of different ideas and different understandings to nurture a greater sense of not only who you are, but a greater sense of love and a greater sense of attractability as well. Venus is attraction. Venus, when you look at the ancient pictures, right? Not ancient, like the Renaissance pictures, actually. But when you look at these paintings, Venus is laying back. She's letting good things come to her. And that's what, when Venus moves into an air sign, it's kind of like that. Like, you can be yourself, you can talk about anything, and the good things just come to you. So this is the time to plan that big adventure. This is the time to know that there is more to learn, there's more to see, there's more to experience. And this is the time for a deeper understanding that love necessarily does require, and all of us in our own way will be feeling this, but love does require a mental connection as well as connecting on other levels. Those of you in an established bond, I just see you making like making plans for fun. This is about thinking about, let's go on this trip, let's explore together. Let's consider together, right? And just talk and enjoy each other's company. For those of you open to meeting someone new, it is by doing these very things, by knowing more of the world, that you open yourself to greater and more experiences in love that will pay off, certainly in the weeks to come. Hello, fabulous Cancer. This week we've got all this energy building happening in the part of the sky for you that has to do with prosperity. And that has to do with prosperity consciousness. This has to do with understanding that the universe is abundant and can bless your life in so many different ways if you will let it, if you will allow it. And certainly it looks like you are willing, you are game. And this is really lovely. This is a really good time, and you are building towards an even better time where reaching out in order to create greater prosperity for yourself. So this is a really good time to consider how it is and where it is that you can apply for grants, loans, bursaries, insurance payments, tax returns, and other benefits, to reach out and access those. And it may actually surprise you what it is that you are eligible for. But not only that, it's almost as if in the process of doing that, of having to deal with banks, financial institutions, or, even just considering going out and seeing what kind of programs are out there that can help you to take your life to the next level that you desire to go. It is in that process that you may very well meet someone who ends up being an important part of your future, whether it's your friendship future or your romantic future at that. But this is also an excellent time to have very deep and meaningful conversations with people who might otherwise be strangers, because it looks like you will not be interested in the superficial at all, niceties at all. It's about diving in and exploring the mystery. That's what's going to be a part of this energy. So wanting to get to the core essential truths of every area of life, and that's going to include with the people that you meet. So some very substantial conversations, romantic or platonic, are likely to arise now as part of you exploring some very meaningful topics and getting clear on what it is that really matters. And ultimately, this is about getting clear on how much you do have, how you have what you need. You have what you need to go forward. And that is a very meaningful understanding. That is a core understanding that I think gives all of us, if you should ever feel disconnected from it, you know that it is one of those core understandings that allows us inner stability and allows us to create that much more stability out there in the world. For those of you who are in an established bond, in a romantic alliance, this is a time of growing intimacy and growing vulnerability. So you are going to want to be and feeling like you want to spill your guts even more. It could be that your partner as well is wanting to tell you more of their secrets, and that both of you learn more about each other as you move towards wanting a deeper understanding of not only who it is that you're with, but also on a more personal level, why it is that you've attracted this particular person into your life. Be friendly. It'll be hard to be light, right? Especially if you're out there trying to meet new people. And you don't have to be fake in any way, ever. But this is a really good time for you to maybe consider things from a little bit more of a detached perspective and consider communicating about those things that you might otherwise not. You might otherwise keep private. You might otherwise keep even secret as well. This could be a good time to communicate just those things from the heart and with those that you trust, or with those that you know you will never see again. These are the types of people where if there's trust there, an established bond that's been there for a long while, or it's somebody that you're just meeting and you know that this is just for this moment of conversation and that's it, it's something about actually speaking it aloud that ends up being not only healing, but also liberating and enlivening. Hello, Fabulous Leo. This week we've got so much energy continuing in your opposite sign. This makes people that much more important. We have got Mercury, full steam ahead in your opposite sign. And then we've got Venus entering your opposite sign as well. All this makes for some interesting development, some interesting momentum as well as we move forward. And all this does suggest that you are particularly connecting with another person, or wanting to connect with another person. If you are open to meeting someone new, this can be a really good time to attract somebody who's going to hang around for a good while. At the very least, especially considering recently we had a new moon, at the very least, this is going to be a time when you will be further understanding, whether it is further nurturing that bond of the person that you met, or whether it is that you are further understanding the connection that you had and what it meant for you. This is a time when you start to talk about and you start to consider from a more heart perspective the recent experiences that you've had, the recent connections that you've had as well. Those of you who are in an established bond, this energy becomes that much more amplified, that much more important. You have been creating some positive momentum, creating some positive changes, likely experiencing some really nice developments with the person that you love. Well, this week and into the next, that energy will only grow. That energy will only magnify and get that much stronger, get that much more steady, get that much more sure. But also there's a certain level of liberation with this that you're moving towards increasingly. And when love is real, right? And when you feel loved, when you feel that level of acceptance, which is a cornerstone of love, it's actually a liberating experience. It allows you to see what it is within yourself that you can now accept as well. Or maybe you weren't even conscious about it, but now you see, okay, yeah, there is something here where you can see the good in you that much more easily because, as I like to say, you're seeing yourself reflected in the eyes of another. And what you're seeing is very loving. That allows you in turn to experience greater love and acceptance for yourself. In some way or another, all Leos out there will be having this experience. Again, whether you're in an established bond, you're open to meeting someone new, or you recently did meet someone, all Leos out there are considering themselves in this light. And this can also apply to professional bonds as well. So if there's been a recent connecting or reconnecting or further affirming and nurturing of a partnership, a bond, a connection that you have with another person, then this energy should be very helpful to you, should really help give you a lot of energy to move ahead with the joint projects that you may have with this person as part of creating greater prosperity for the both of you. Hello, fabulous Virgo. This week, we've got all this energy building in a part of the sky that has to do with work assignments, clients, work environment. And with Mercury now full steam ahead and with Venus about to enter this sign, it is like people are just drawn to you and they're drawn to your work. If you are someone who works for yourself, this should be a time when an abundance of clients start really coming in. It might have been that you have already heard from them in the days preceding this horoscope, and that's because we did have a new moon in the same part of the sky recently. So it might have been that you have already connected with certain people. However, also this is going to bring new people to you as well this week and into next week. So this is a larger period of time that will continue into next week as part of you understanding and finding yourself very much in demand. This is also really nice energy where it comes to matters of health. Okay, so whether it is you knowing what to do to take the best of care of you, whether it is you incorporating habits and practices, this is a time when information starts to clear and a joy of the process of self-care starts to affirm itself as well, starts to take root as well. So you're popular among clients, you're popular among coworkers, and it is in the workspace or in a gym or while you're doing something in a doctor's office and you're doing something to experience greater health, or you're doing something to really enjoy your work and to be present with the work that you do and to do great work, that the pathway to love and prosperity for that matter becomes that much more evident. If you're open to meeting someone new, these are the spaces that you want to pay attention to, where you very well might meet someone new. It certainly is going to be a place where you find yourself feeling that much more beautiful and finding yourself attracting just the right attention. For those of you in an established bond, it looks like you and your partner are thinking about how to incorporate a more healthy way of being into your lives together. And so this can be really nice. Doing something, making a pact together to go to the gym at least twice or 3 times a week together as a date night, if you will, could actually work very much to your advantage, allow you to feel that much more loved. And I will also say this, any sort of new health habits that you take on now will find themselves very quickly reaping some very positive results now and in the days ahead. Hello, fabulous Libra. This week we've got all this energy building in fellow air sign Aquarius. This should work so well for you in a few different ways. One is creative energy. Okay, so if you are in anything that you consider creative, if you're in a creative profession, if you want to bring greater creative energy to what you are doing, and if you want to think about how to create a life more filled with happiness, more filled with joy, then this is a time when that energy is only going to amplify for you. Now, this is energy that has been there with the recent new moon, but will now start to grow in the days ahead. So in this week, with adding Venus in this part of the sky, the next week with Mercury and Venus being particularly active in what we're building towards, all of this does suggest to me that this very part of the sky is going to magnify in importance and magnify in benefit to you. Love should definitely be a very fun area as well, particularly if you're open to meeting someone new. So if you're open to meeting someone new, you've got lots of cosmic support really all month. You've got lots of cosmic support playing out for you, has been, will continue to. This is certainly a time to get your flirt on. And if you feel like you can't, if it feels awkward, if it doesn't feel right, which happens, right? It happens sometimes. I will say a couple of things I can guide you on. Okay, so one is know that the flirt, if you are one of those people who finds it always not necessarily so easy, if you're more a cerebral type of Libra, one thing that you can know is that coming up next week in particular, we've got a lot of fun energy coming into the mix. So already we've got flirty energy, and then you add the fun to it. Well, you put fun and flirty together and it makes meeting someone new that much easier. Just enjoying your life, feeling happy, allowing you to attract new people into your life. But also, when I look at the energy, it is very cerebral, right? It is an energy of talking and communicating. And so if you are one of those people who feels that like just flirting itself not always goes as smoothly as you may necessarily like, this is going to be your chance to just talk about whatever you want to talk about and have it turn into something flirty. So that can work to your advantage. If you are with someone, if you are in an established bond, this is going to be a time when you are talking about, thinking about kids, whether it's kids that you have in a blended family, kids that you have together, or it is wanting kids or not. This is going to be a time when possibly the concept, the idea, the possibility of children will be on your mind. What I really like about this energy, even if you were to say to me, no, Nadiya, we don't want kids at all, right? If you were to say that to me, I would say that there's something that happens when you really love somebody, right? You have these moments when you feel like, I want a little you. Like, I love you so much, I want to have a little you. I want another you in the world because you love this person so much. And the most fortunate of us have known that kind of love. We've known that love. And this is that kind of love, really. This is that kind of energy. So if you're in an established bond in particular, you might find yourself feeling these things. Like, I want a little you. I want to feel you growing inside of me. I want to have your baby. If you may very well surprise yourself. Even the most child resistant of you out there might surprise yourself by having that feeling. Now, what you do with it is always, always up to you. But as I have been sharing pretty much all month, and I will continue to share, you are very fertile right about now. So if that is something you want, you can work with this energy. There's also a very surprise element to this as well. So again, even if that's not something you want, unless you're actively doing something to ensure that that is not part of your experience, unless you're actively doing something, then it's like you're saying to the universe that maybe you are willing. Okay, so just know that, because there's lots of fertile energy in the air. If you have children, this is going to be a time when you just fall deeper and deeper in love with them, if you even thought that that could be possible. Hello, fabulous Scorpio. This week we have got all this energy building in a part of the sky for you that has to do with home and home base. And it is going to be there where a lot of the action is taking place. A lot of conversations are happening, but also there might be some redecorating happening as well. In fact, there's a part of you that's going to want to make your space more beautiful in some way. So this is a great time to embrace that beauty energy and to manifest some beautiful things in your living space. So whether this is actually changing the space that you're living in. So consider this, we've just come out of a Mercury retrograde. And Mercury was just barely retrograde in this part of the sky, but still you would have felt a little bit of it. And so if you are one of those Scorpios who has felt delays around a redecorating project, then this should be a really welcome time when things feel like they're coming together and able to flow that much easier, especially where it comes to just loving the ideas and having them come together quickly, and loving, like, you know, experimenting with a new color of paint, and then loving what it is that you see, seeing there's a whole other color play out and see, wow, my God, this is amazing, way better than I thought it would look, is that type of thing. So certainly now and in the weeks ahead, good time for you to consider what it is that you need to feel like your home is a more beautiful space, and to just create a greater sense of beautiful things all around. If you are in a profession that is artistic or around beauty, okay, so whether it's about creating beauty in the world, whether it is about creating beautiful art, whether it's about creating beautiful people, helping people feel and look more beautiful, especially in things like the aesthetic arts. This is a time when, and especially if you're doing it from home, this is a time when you're going to find a real boon takes place for you. You should be very much in demand. And in fact, anybody who has a home-based business should feel a greater sense of prosperity finding you now, especially at home. So people who need space to create those beautiful things that eventually you do share, nurture this energy, right? Close the door, let yourself create, let yourself tap into your understanding and your desire to share something really beautiful. And those of you who know that you can make others beautiful or help them feel more beautiful should find a certain renaissance and a certain influx of clients happening for you. Where it comes to love, of course, with all this love energy focused on home and the past as well, this part of the sky has to do with the past. So a couple of ways that this can play out. One is if you're in an established bond, this is some real healing energy to whatever has been. In any established bond, there are times that feel smoother than others. And where it is that there has been times that maybe didn't feel as smooth, this is when you really start to feel like they're behind you. This is where you're really feeling that much more love for and with this person. So it really is a beautiful energy. And if you live with this person, it's that much more amplified. And those of you who are open to meeting someone new, this very well may be a time when. Now, I'm not saying that someone from the past is going to show up again. Actually, so much of the energy is on the new and is on the next, that someone from the past showing up, it's not even 50-50, okay? So it's not as likely as you meeting someone now who just is uncannily like someone that you left way back in the day, someone from way back in your past. You meeting someone now who in some way they do something. It might be a slight thing. It might be something more pronounced. It might be something they say, but it reminds you of where it is that you have been in love. And that in turn can help inform you as to where it is that you desire to go. Hello, fabulous Sagittarius. This week we have got some really lovely energy building in a part of the sky for you that has to do with talking, communicating, connecting with other people, and also with activity in general. So this should start to feel like a busier time and a time when you sort of find your groove within the busyness of the day. Those of you who work around a lot of different people or work in an environment where there's just a lot of different things going on at any given time, maybe you've got customers sort of coming in and out, then this should be a time that feels especially enjoyable. And it feels like a time when you've sort of found your pace, found your cadence. What I really also love about this energy for you as well is that if you are in one of these types of environments, you should find love finds you that much more easily. And in fact, it is also communications, online, text messages, and otherwise communicating that allows a love connection to take place. So you can expect a little bit of online flirting happening. Now, you know, as I like to say, as I'm very fond of saying, and especially considering that next week, we've got this full moon and we've got the sun and Neptune. As we end this week, the sun is marching towards Neptune. We'll reach Neptune next week. Considering that we have this coming up, my suggestion is very, very strong that you get on that, that video chat. Like as soon as you feel like there could be a connection here, get on the video chat. Make sure you're making sure that you are speaking to the person that you believe that you're speaking to. It's really important in our world, and especially making connections with people online becomes that much more important to verify. At the very least, just verify that so that you minimize the illusions, right? Any love, I do think, in order to be willing to love, it does require an acceptance of knowing that you may not know everything. And I think that's part of what love is meant to teach us. And so there's always going to be that factor, right? You can't monitor this person 24/7. Love, certainly, no matter what you do, you're not going to have control. Control is such an illusion. And so that plays out in this as well. But what's really interesting and intriguing about this energy is that making those particular connections with people now does suggest that there is a mental vibe happening there. Like you can talk to this person. There's a chattiness there. And so sometimes this might be you feeling like, whoa, you're talking way too much. And especially, as I said, if it's a love connection, if you're attracted to this person, if you're, you know, feeling that you might be interested, if you start talking a lot, that's a signal to you. That's a sign. Oh, okay, I think I like this person. And that's why you find yourself getting really chatty. For those of you who are in an established bond, there's going to be a real desire now. You're going to do one of two things. Either you're going to want to stay busy as a way of avoiding them and not having to talk about things, or you're going to be like, okay, let's talk about things because I love you and I want this to work. So it could be like one or the other. It could be both, right? At different periods of time this week. But regardless, just know that even if you feel like you're not sure if you're ready to talk just yet, you are moving towards an energy that's going to allow conversation to take place that much more easily. And especially where it comes to what's taking place next week and the energy you're building towards, that moment where that conversation needs to happen will just flow together and it'll feel right. And it really can make things right where they haven't felt right in a while. For those of you out there who might have felt some of that energy. Also, what I really like about this week for you, in addition to all this busyness, is you might be thinking right now about what it is that you could learn that could help you to do more in the world, to feel more fulfilled, to move more in the direction that feels more rewarding for you. All of these, what can you learn? Is there a workshop you could take? Is there, a class that you might want to take, like a 1-2 day workshop that you might want to do? But also book signings as well. Like, it's going to be these types of environments where you are taking on new skills or exchanging ideas or listening to people and the knowledge that they have to share, where you are going to find your comfort zone and you are going to find a feeling of love. Now, for some of you, that might just be love of where you are, love of your peers, loving the work, loving the learning. And for others of you, yes, it is these spaces that can bring with them romantic love as well. Hello, fabulous Capricorn. This week, we've got all this energy building, starting to move forward, move on from your sign and into a part of the sky for you that has to do with finances. It has to do with money, especially money that you are earning. This to me is very promising, because this to me says that you are now thinking about how to take the recent lessons of personal clarity, knowing who you are, and also personal understanding of your lovability and your deservability in just about anything it is that you want. How can you now take that and translate that into greater prosperity for yourself? So that's going to be part of the sacred learning for you that kicks off now. It has been there, okay? Pretty much this is a theme throughout the month. And it has been there for you since the early part of the month. But just now there's going to be an element of softness and sweetness that comes into the mix. And now it is that you start to understand that, just saying, I believe in myself and I know I deserve more prosperity is fine and it's good and it's true, of course. But it's another thing to feel an ease with that knowing. It's another thing to know that you can actually experience and deserve to experience prosperity while doing something you love, and that the act of just making money, let's say you have a day job and you know that that's what you need to do. Maybe you know in the bigger picture where you're going. Maybe you don't really care so much about that, right? Maybe you're thinking more like, okay, yeah, I have my job and I know I got to do my job, but I've got other areas of life that are more important to me. Maybe your family is more important to you. However, every Capricorn out there has a certain work ethic, has a certain perception and perspective on aiming higher, thinking bigger picture, and wanting to progress, wanting to move forward. Well, the thing is that path doesn't necessarily have to be one of drudgery. It can be one where actually there's a lot of joy and a lot of fun and a lot of ease and a lot of love that you bring to it as well. Regardless of what it is that you're doing, even if you just have a day job and you think of it just as your day job, you go in, you punch your card in and you punch your card out and that's it. That work environment is just going to get more fun and loving. You should find yourself that much more easily able to attract people, to have conversations, heart-to-heart conversations, and to feel a sense of support around you. And there's something about knowing that you have something within you where you can take care of yourself and you can provide for yourself, that gives you in particular, as a Cancerian, that gives you in particular a certain sense of inner security and of strength within you. And I think that this is very much an earth sign thing as well. So when I look at the sky, it also does suggest that being connected to that part of you that knows you have what it takes, that knows you have something within you you can trust to create that greater prosperity for you, is just the thing that you need to attract greater love to you as well. If you're in an established bond, so if you are open to meeting someone new, just do what you do to make your money where it applies and know that you deserve that love, and you will find yourself that much more easily able to attract yourself to it. In fact, I'm just seeing, like, for a lot of you out there, as you're doing your job, just like somebody just shows up as part of letting you know that you are worthy to experience love. And if you're in an established bond, this particular week, and what I really like about this energy is that you are coming with a greater sense of self-value to the mix. So you have a greater understanding that you're bringing something valuable to the table, and a greater sense of wanting that to be appreciated, wanting a sense of greater equality within that connection as well. And that desire ensures that you move more towards it. Hello, fabulous Aquarius. This week we have got a party happening in your sky, in your sign. So as I look at the energy, like if we think back, okay, let me take you back a little bit. Earlier this month, we had a new moon in your sign. Exciting times, right? So you've already had your fresh start, if you will, your fresh beginning, your fresh insight. It is about beginning again, knowing who you are, planting seeds. So you've been doing that. But now you've got cosmic support to see it through, and it starts now. So what we have taking place for you now is Mercury, straight ahead, out of shadow in your sign, marching forward. This is huge, okay? This is huge because it gives you clarity as to who you are and what really matters to you. Keep in mind as well, like think back to what was happening last year, right around this time. You actually had a rare occurrence of 2 new moons in your sign, and you had Mercury retrograding in your sign as well in the early part of 2015. Well, what's happening now as Mercury moves forward and moves straight is that Mercury will retrace those steps. We'll retrace the steps of that last Mercury retrograde in your sign a year ago. We'll retrace and activate where it was that those 2 new moons took place. So you do want to pay attention now and in the weeks to come, because there is going to be further clarity and further progress on what it was that either started for you, or where it was that you began again, where it was that you took some initiative, where it was that you understood something very valuable about yourself a year ago. Now you're really going to start to see it in action. You're going to start to see the next phase of it. You add to this Venus entering your sign. Now this is huge. This is so great. I mean, I'm so happy for you. I'm so excited for you. Having Venus enter your sign is really, really good in general. So it's good for love, of course, because you just have to be you and love just shows up. People want to tell you how beautiful you are. It's good if you're in an established bond as well, because you're feeling the love and you're feeling more loving, and as a result are experiencing a more loving environment. So this is really good as well. But also with this energy, I mean, it's just really good for doing things for yourself that make you feel that much more beautiful, and also any kind of superficial changes that you might want to undertake. Considering that Venus also has a lot of support, especially next week, and as you're moving towards next week, my advice would be try to utilize this energy, okay, to your advantage. If there's any kind of physical changes, or not even that, let's just say beauty treatments that you want to undertake. If there's been a makeover long overdue, if you've wanted to go, you know that you need a bunch of new clothes. This is what you've been waiting for. This is going to be a time when you are able to harness this energy that much more, and that much more to your advantage. Now, I do want you to keep in mind, though, next week we have an energy happening right at the top of the week, a full moon, and it is speaking to surgeries. It is speaking to also large sums of money as well. And so the reason I am mentioning this is that I do think where it comes to actually doing a surgical procedure, or where it comes to you wanting to make some kind of significant change, like if it's, you know, really wanting to make a significant change, just know that there's a certain fine line, right? There's a lot of dreaminess around this particular full moon. And so I'm just giving you a heads up, because if you are one of those people who's been waiting for Venus to enter your sign so that you can, you know, go and get that expansive back tattoo that, you know, you've just been waiting for, while you've got a lot of cosmic support, that's awesome. But just know that because of this full moon coming up very soon, chances are the price is not going to be clear. It actually might end up costing you a lot more. And also chances are that if you are doing something that involves any kind of, whether it's a tattoo or cosmetic procedure, if there's a surgical element to it, know that what is being presented to you is what's possible, and the reality might not necessarily be so connected. So if you can, just give this a little bit of space, right? You just want to give the full moon a little bit of time. Try to go in the middle of this week to connect with people, get your quote, or better still, wait until we further progress into next week before you decide to go and get that quote to make some kind of big, meaningful change happen, especially the type that would leave a lasting impression. As we move further into next week, you've got some really great cosmic support for just finding that right thing at the right time to make a change that actually might not even be nearly as big as you think it needs to be. And it's a change that lasts, that feels well worth it, that feels like luck was on your side and everything came together. Everything came together in that moment to get you that new wardrobe for a third of the price than it would otherwise cost. Everything came together for you to just be walking by in a new neighborhood, taking a different route, and walking by some cosmetic center, walking in and realizing, oh wow, yeah, I can actually do this and do it right now and come out looking, 20 years younger. All of this, very possible. I don't say that lightly, but you just want to give it a little bit of time. And remember, if anything feels like unclear, that is a signal for you to go where the clarity is. Because when the clarity is there, when you know your answers, there is a certain willingness, a certain energy, a certain buoyancy with that makes it unmistakable of what it is that you're meant to do. Hello, fabulous Pisces. This week, we've got all this energy beginning to grow that much more in the sign just before yours. Think about what has been here, the energy that has been taking place here with the recent new moon that happened a couple of weeks back. I've been speaking about it since early this month. We had a new moon happen in this part of the sky. Now we're having Mercury straight ahead, steaming forward, marching forward rather. And we've got Venus actually bringing the sultriness, if you will, in this same part of the sky. So this is a decidedly quiet part of the sky, but it's also home to you. It's your house in the sky. And what this suggests to me is that you are going to be feeling contemplative. You're going to be feeling like you want to step back a little bit, like you have some stuff that you want to work on or work out in your own time and in your own space. It might not necessarily feel like you're ready to march forward yourself. That time will come very soon. You're moving towards it, so don't you worry. But you're sort of in this last little bit of time of clearing space so that the new can enter, and that the new that enters has that space to really blossom and grow and take your life in wonderful directions. So don't worry about a thing. If you find yourself needing more rest, if you find yourself needing more sleep, if you find that your dreams are really active and you wake up and you're like, oh my God, I just saw all these amazing things, and then 2 minutes later it's gone. Like that should certainly, because there's going to be such vivid and clear images, and especially where the images are going to speak to experiencing greater love, having more clarity about your life, and experiencing greater prosperity, it would behoove you to actually take notes, to actually make sure that you are getting everything down, to make sure that you are exploring the symbols that reveal themselves, because they very much could contain the keys to action you can take just in a couple of weeks' time that could really blossom into wonderful, wonderful things for you. So take your dreams seriously. Also, though, as I said, there's a low-key element to this. If you're in an established bond, this is going to be a time when you are either going to want that space, like sort of create your own little cave on your own, but still knowing that that love is there. or you're going to want to like sort of be in that little fortress of solitude with your partner. Like just being like hugging your partner is going to be bliss for you right about now. That is about the only thing you're going to want to do. Just hug them really tight and snuggle. That's what this energy looks like to me. If you are open to meeting someone new or just getting to know someone, again, the energy is very behind the scenes. And so any kind of attraction or flirtation that may happen, I feel as I look at the sky, especially this week, this might be the first awareness of where maybe you weren't aware before. This might also bring with it experiences where after the fact, your friend says, you realize that person was really flirting with you a whole lot. And you're like, really? I didn't think that. That's not what I was thinking. That's not what I was feeling. It's these types of knowings. It's these types of awarenesses. It's these types of experiences that you may be having now. Next week, the awareness is there, okay? So just know that. Next week, the awareness is very clear. But just this week in general, it looks like, you know, that love could just show up for you right in front of your face and you wouldn't even know it. You wouldn't even realize it because you're just thinking on a different level. And that's okay, right? If that love is meant to be for you, it will be there for you. Also, because of the behind the scenes kind of secretive element to this energy, it is possible that, and again, if you're open to meeting somebody new, it is possible that a very quiet moment ends up being very meaningful to you. Now, the longevity of that will reveal itself next week. However, any moment that allows you to affirm your lovability can be beautiful and should be cherished as well. Well, thank you so much to all the signs out there. Happy Valentine's Day once again, and it'll be a great week. Enjoy.